Welcome back, and let's talk about stress, the number one cause for falling off track. This is the number one reason a lot of my new clients are come to me or approach me or talk to me, or quite often actually clients that I have, they ghost me for a couple of days, and it's because of stress. Stress is the number one reason for falling off track. And it happens to all of us. All of us go through all sorts of stress, whether it be, stress of something to do with your animals, your pets, your children, bills, unexpected bills, injuries, sickness, death in the family. It can come in all shades and colors. Definitely. I've been through my stress. I took a stress quiz actually a few days ago. That's why this topic is so top of mind right now. And it said something about like I scored up my score and it was like 1,500. And I didn't even look at the, what your scores meant before I started calculating my score. And it talked about divorce and marriage and moving and job changes and, different things that were really high ranking on the point scale. Didn't even think about it. I'm adding this up, just going, okay, I'm going to be conservative on this. And I got 1,500. But the maximum was like 300 or something, like over 300. And I was like, this is not good. In fact, actually, it was like indicating that I was preparing for a heart attack over 300 or something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not going to give you that test. I feel like that was a little bit jarring. But stress is definitely top of mind right now for me. And so I thought I would create this short little course or short little section for you to hear my thoughts. I've written them all down. I'm going to go over my notes. So stress is definitely the number one cause for falling off track. I've seen it. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it with my clients. A lot of my new clients come to me, and they are managing at some level of stress. Spikes in our cortisol, so our hormones relating to stress, can lead to the following unhealthy behaviors and actions and things and habits that inhibit or prevent fat loss or actually causes fat storage. So definitely let me know if any of this resonates with you. I know a few of them do for me currently or past parts of my life. But emotional eating. When you are emotionally eating, you're shoving down those feelings, those emotions, that stress, whatever. What ends up happening is you crave unhealthy foods, so salty, fatty, sugary foods that really ring that bell. And the reason is that those sugary, so sweet and fatty foods is a regression back to our childhood. It's because the only thing in nature that is fatty and sweet is breast milk. So it is a regression. It is a satisfaction of soothing our emotional feelings. Here's another one: eating fast, cheap food, right? So you're going to look for cheap fast food. You're going to look for the frozen meals, which are really, really bad for you. You're going to go to the processed food section of the grocery store, which is 99% of it, because you just have a lack of energy, right? You have no energy. You're tired. You're stressed out. So you have no desire or imagination to prepare healthy home cooked foods that you know what's in them. The frozen foods in the frozen section are just pure sodium. They're just full of all kinds of preservatives, so they have a longer shelf life. So, you can make healthy meals at home, make extra portions and freeze them. Just know that they don't stay in the freezer super long, a month, or maybe 2 months. But I have done that. This is a great camping tip is, make extra portions of things like stews or chilies or things of that nature and freezer pack them in portion sizes where they're actually portioned out for a normal portion. And when you're camping, you can just take a pot of boiling water, put them in there, warm them up, and voila, you have instant fast food and you know what's in them. I've done that, and I actually do that with desserts too. I know that sounds bad, but me being a health coach, but I do when you're out burning a lot of calories, especially if you're out camping or hunting or hiking, you need the extra calories, so it's fine. But stuff like cobblers are one of the things that I typically do. They're crustless, but I do like the little crunchy granola on top. But I portion those out as well, put them in freezer. sealable bags and portion sized. And again, boil hot water and stick them in there, thaw them out, and voila, you have dessert. When you're stressed out, what's the first thing to go? Exercise, right? You exercise very little or not at all. Now, I do run into the occasional person that actually uses it as a release. They actually exercise too much. And I've seen individuals actually get injured as a result. Typically, these are the people that run marathons, mountain climbers, these real extreme type athletes. But you have zero energy, no desire, no ambition, no motivation, no imagination again to work out. A lot of times before I go work out, I figure out, what am I going to work out on? What do I want to? You have no creativity when you're stressed out. You end up skipping meals or going long periods of time without eating. And what this does is it triggers the starvation mode. Your body's going to start breaking down your muscle as fuel, and it's going to start storing more fat, especially around your midsection. So I'm not a big advocate for fasting long periods of time because your blood sugars will drop too low. And there's an ideal range to be in the fat burn. In my experience, my knowledge, my training, I've been trained in so many different ways, and all of them indicate that fasting is not ideal. But go with what your doctor tells you. You end up sleeping less, poorly or interrupted sleep. It's not consistent. It's not the 8 hours that we need every single night. It's a broken sleep. You're not getting into REM. But all of these will stop your fat burn, every single one of these, and fire off fat storage. And that's the last thing that you probably want. When you are always stressed out, your body will protest. It will fight. It's just designed to do that. Maybe it's your sleep, your digestion, maybe loss of hair, gain of weight, or sudden weight loss too. Rare, but it does happen. Your heart, your muscles, your sex drive all suffer. Whatever this disruption, it's generally an indication that you've got too much going on, ignoring what can cause the very thing that you don't want. So true. So true. So what needs to be done, right? That's why we're here. We're, ready to know. And most of you already know what you need to do. That's what I find often with my coaching is I'm just kind of your accountability partner. You know what to do. You know that the things that need to get done or tackled, I'm just there to hold you accountable and, help you brainstorm and help you find a way to initiate it, start it small, and follow through. But what needs to be done? Practice daily coping strategies. This is huge. If you don't know how to cope with stress, it's going to spiral out of control. Or you get wallowed away in it. You go down the drain and start, feeling worse and worse about it and ruminating about it. So practice daily coping strategies to keep stress under control. Keep balance in your life. I can't stress that. I have been many parts of my life I wasn't balanced. I was incredibly out of balance, and I do regret that. However, I can't change the past. So I don't worry about it. I don't stress about it. It's done. It's over with. And the only thing I can do about it is teach and educate people on what balance is. Oftentimes when I ask new clients on the phone, is your life in balance? I don't even know what that means. And I wouldn't have either 12 years ago. But I talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get this figured out. Let's sort this out. But here's some questions that you should ask yourself. Do I love my job? Is it fulfilling? Am I happy? Am I appreciated? Am I challenged? Is there room for growth? Do I feel valued? Is the job that I have too high of stress or too much stress load? So these are all things that you should really question. Always look for ways to create new income. Always. Even if you love your job, diversify. Never, ever have one stream of income. Have multiple. Most millionaires have 6, 7, 10, 12 different streams of income. You just got to always be open-minded, try new things, but be willing to cut things off too when they don't work out. Here's another question. Am I living within my means or spending money foolishly? Money is a huge stressor. I run a lot of questions on Facebook, and I'm always just curious at what the answers are. And so I kind of put these actually in order. Jobs, money are things that are coming up top of the list. But money, are you spending things foolishly? You need to get a budget. You need to spend within your budget, again, or diversify and find another means of income. But look at the things you're subscribed to. Those small monthly fees add up. You could be $19 to death or $9 to death, right? You might think at the time, well, this isn't very much money. And even like, what is it? Planet Fitness. I cannot tell you how many people I've talked to on the phone that they pay $10 a month and like, oh, it's just $10 a month, and they haven't been in months or a year. Oh, it's just $10 a month. It's just $10 a month. Well, what else are you paying $10 a month for? That all adds up. Here's another question to ask. Am I setting boundaries and sticking to those boundaries? Set in stone to prevent toxic stuff in your mind and your environment. I can't tell you how much your environment influences you. And your environment is everything around you. You need to avoid those toxic people. Stop connecting with them. Don't bring more toxic people into your life. Be sure that you watch and listen, read, research, learn, explore all things positive, healthy, motivating, inspiring, and helpful in promoting that life that you want to live, right? So if you want to be a millionaire, you can't hang around people that are impoverished, right? You can't hang around people that are not millionaires. You need to hang around people that are millionaires. So they influence you and they push you to be that. Same with being healthy. You cannot be around people in and out every single day that are not healthy. Sad bit about that is sometimes it is your direct family that you can't just escape from, but it doesn't mean you're stuck. So it might take some evaluating or some figuring. For me, with my healthy journey, my family didn't sign up for it. It took them a year before they became curious. And I did it in a way that I inspired them, influenced them. And when I signed up and my gym membership and my personal training and all these different things, and it was quite expensive, but it was an investment and no regrets. At the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of money. But I knew, like, I had an 18-month contract. So I'm going to stick to this for a whole year. And I'm not going to make my family change, although I bought a family membership. And I just kept the door open and kept mentioning, anybody want to go with me? You guys can just hang out in the food court, And they did. They actually started coming, and they enjoyed it. And I transformed their lives. I have 2 daughters, by the way. Here's another question. Do I have the parenting support? Now, we're all in different phases in our lives. And I know for me, this is not something that's a stressor, but at one point in time it was a huge stressor, the parenting. I didn't have the support. I didn't have the family. And what I know now and the ideas, and mainly because of the internet, not to say there wasn't internet when I was having kids, but there's so many new advancements and new technology that probably would have made my life much, much easier. And I did actually find an amazing woman that ended up being Grandma Debbie to my girls and took really good care of them. It was basically a home sitter. But there's so many ideas now, like date night swap, where it doesn't cost you any money, but, someone in your neighborhood with kids roughly the same age, just have one night a week that you guys, or 2 nights a week that you guys swap, so, you watch their kids one night and they watch your kids another night and have a date night every night. And that doesn't mean you have to go out. You can just drop the kids off at your neighbors and have a date in night or something, just spending quality time with your spouse and reconnecting or just taking a hot bath. I don't know. But you do need to have parenting support. I missed out on that. And, like I said, I kind of figured it out my own way, but I really wish I would have known what I know today. But don't be afraid to ask for help. That was probably the biggest thing, is I was afraid to ask for help. I didn't have good influences as parents growing up, so I really didn't know how to wade those waters. To ensure you're balancing out quality time with your children, but also have time to recharge yourself. Remember, you got to put your mask on first, just like they say on the airplane. You want to reboot, re-energize, where you're able to show up and be happy and have the mood to parent, to be able to address the trials of being a parent, making good choices, and having those patience that you really, really need. Here's another question. Too much daily busyness. So many people that I work with are busy people. They're just filling up their time. And I get it, staying busy keeps you occupied and not ruminating on those negative things. But you can be too busy. These days, people are busier than ever, and this adds a lot of stress to your lives. Make sure you're taking time each month, at least, or maybe every week, to make sure you're taking stuff off your plate. if you're adding more to it. So if you're wanting to start new healthy habits, you've got to take something off your plate. Less is more, and multitasking is not healthy. I can't tell you how many times I catch myself during the day trying to multitask, and it's just not functioning. It's just not working. I'm like, Catherine, just hold still. But frequent adjustment is necessary. You've got to reevaluate your plate. If you're starting to feel overwhelmed, there's a reason, and you need to stop, and you need to take something off your plate. I actually, this last month, took a ton of things off my plate. I have some new stuff coming up that I've been waiting a year to launch, and finally it's launching, and so and I know it's going to use up some of my time in a good way, great way. I'm really excited. But however, I need to take things off my plate to make room for that so it doesn't overtask me. So is your environment too cluttered, to have too many projects that you've started but not finished? So this is in your environment. This is meaning even on your computer. This is on your phone. This is on in your living room, on your kitchen table, your dining room table, your bedroom. Are there projects that are started and not finished that need to either just be boxed up and donated, like physical projects, or is your inbox way too flooded with junk mail? There's things that cloud our mind, and when we have all this clutter, we can't focus and we can't thrive. A cluttered environment causes a cluttered mind and prevents the ability to take on new things. It's like pruning the hedges and having new growth. You have to get rid of the old branches. This is a silent stressor going on in the back of your mind. Your subconscious is running over and over again. I need to do that. I need to do this. And you know what? Hire out someone to clean your windows, or hire someone to weed your garden, or hire out some of those things that you just don't have time for. But these are all stressors. So this is a silent stressor that many don't even consider. If you think or believe you have, if you think or you believe you like to start new things and never finish, that too needs to be addressed. So if you know that and you joke about that, like, oh, I love to start new things, but I never finish it, it's really not a joke. It's really something that needs to be addressed. That belief needs to be let go of and reframed. And that's something I'm really good with, working with clients and helping them with that. Because that's something that if I hear you say that, I'll stop you and be like, we need to work on that, because that is something it's not healthy, it's not funny. So something that needs to be corrected. Here's some ideas to healthy ways to cope with stress. Now, there's a bazillion different ideas. These are just my notes. So I'm going to read them off, kind of, give my few cents here and there, but take time for yourself first. It's not selfish. It's really something you need to do. You need to practice doing that. I can't tell you how many times I post something on Facebook, and it's amazing how many people put their family members first or other people first. But really, if you take care of yourself first, it doesn't take more time. It's just kind of reorganizing your day. So making sure you eat healthy first, and then they eat healthy first, second, which can basically be at the same time. It's just a mindset shift, I guess. But making sure you move your body or exercise daily or whatever your program is, fitting that in, looking at the week ahead and making sure that you make time for that and honor that time. Staying hydrated, having water with you all the time. If you buy water, make sure you have plenty in stock. Getting plenty of sleep, not staying up and jonesing out on Netflix, or staying up, playing video games, or doing things that are inhibiting that time that you really need to honor your body and respect your body and take care of your body. But give yourself a break if you feel stressed at all, like you feel like overwhelmed. You need to notice that, address it, take a long shower, take a long bath, take a nap, go lay in the grass, go stare at the sky and count the clouds, be with nature, or be with animals. These are all really, really good ways that I love. And you may have your own, and that's great. Love to hear what your favorites are as well. I believe everybody should have a menu of things to resort to, of what recharges, reboots you, and have that menu handy so in case you forget. Talk to others. Connection is extremely important. At one point in time in history, as human beings, if we didn't have connection, we would die. It was important in tribes that we stayed connected and we felt a part of the tribe and felt worthy and felt like we were contributing. So connection is really important. I see so much on social media, people that are really anxious, stressed out, depressed, worried, scared, especially right now as I'm recording this, we're all kind of coming out of a pandemic, I guess. Who knows? But, there's so much fear and scaredness of going back to work and socializing. But reality is that connection is what we need. That doesn't mean that we need to connect with 100 people, but we do need to connect with a handful of other people and allow them in our lives and connect with them and share our vulnerabilities. It's really, really important. And I see that as a problem out there right now. But share your problems with someone, how you're feeling, right? Voice it. Someone that'll listen to you. I think that's really big. I had a conversation with someone today that I was voicing something that I needed to voice. I wanted to talk about it, and they were not paying attention to me. And so I felt a little sad, to be honest with you. I felt a little let down, like, I need to hire someone that I can talk to and they'll listen to me. And that's what coaches are. That's what I do, is I'm basically a very well-trained listener. But maybe it's a parent, if your parents are living and you're close to them, a friend. Maybe you need to hire a coach or a counselor, a doctor, a pastor, or someone at your spiritual house of worship, whatever, or someone you trust. Definitely have someone you can talk to. It's really important to talk about your feelings. You want to make sure you avoid drugs and alcohol. I know that's a no-brainer, but these may seem to help in the short term, right, for the moment, but they can actually create additional stress on your body. And also what actions you take after that. They can cause greater or worse problems and blur your decision making. I'm glad I wrote that down. But yeah, they can, drugs and alcohol will definitely inhibit your ability to make those choices that really are in alignment with what you need to be doing. Plus all the calories or whatever else is going on. And then you start getting hungry and eating things way outside of what you should be eating. But take a time out or detox from social media or the news. If news events are causing you stress, meaning like you feel dirty, you feel awful, you feel scared after watching the news, you need to take a break from listening to that junk and watching the news, and maybe unplug from social. I can tell you for the last year, I've barely looked at my news feed, and mainly because a lot of people are posting toxic stuff, a lot of political, religious, really strong opinions, and it doesn't really trigger me. I can easily scroll past it without commenting, but a lot of people get triggered by it and get sucked into this warp zone of trying to sway other people's decisions or opinions, and you just can't on social. It ends up going really wrong. And then you lose friends or get blocked on Facebook, or your account gets shut down, I don't know, or whatever social platform you choose. But it is really important to detox if it's starting to not feel good. So one of the things I do on social is I love following groups or certain topics, and I just follow those news feeds. So that way they're on topic, because typically groups and things of that, forums or whatever, are pretty protective on what's talked about and keeping out the riffraff. Hobbies, passions, learning are really, really important. Dive deep into something that you love. Maybe it's from your past. Maybe it's something you've always wanted to do or learn. Master a fun craft. Discover planets. I don't know. That was one that I thought of yesterday. I thought it was really fun. Not an interest of mine, but it was something that was talked about in a conversation at dinner, so I thought I would throw that in there. Collecting things. I have been known to go through phases of collecting things. Ask me and I'll tell you. Whatever I'm collecting now, it's so funny. Maybe it's building things, creating things, go geocaching. That's something I've done in the past. It's been a lot of fun. I haven't done that in a while. If you don't know what that is, message me. Find a walking group or clubs. I run one here locally in my community. I love it. I connect with a lot of really cool people. But get out and experience life is really what I'm trying to say here. Pay close attention to the things that you're saying in your mind. That's so valuable. I think that's number one, honestly, even though I didn't put this as number one. Your thoughts drive your life at a greater level than you probably actually are aware of. I can't tell you how many people tell me, like, I have bad luck. Well, a lot of it is they're creating it. It's some sort of protection or punishment mechanism that your subconscious has created for you. So make sure that you are becoming aware of your thoughts. If your thoughts are negative, they create your reality, or positive. I can help with changing these thought patterns. Reach out to me, but simply put, become aware of your thoughts. Maybe start writing them down. Identify where they come from. Oftentimes they're from your childhood. Someone in your past used to say that to you. I have talked to so many clients, and that's what ends up happening. In fact, I had a coach session this week, and I was shocked at what came out, and I was like, I never thought of that before. But anyways, it was a breakthrough for me, becoming aware of where these thoughts come from. Realizing that they're not true. Oftentimes those awful thoughts that you think are not true. I actually posted that on Facebook too recently, and that was very relevant. Like I asked almost every single one, I'm like, is it true? Is it true? And most of them, obviously, I knew it wasn't true. But, it's noting that. It's actually taking a moment and saying, that's not true. So in order to let it go, you've got to realize it's not true. And then again, letting these thoughts go is kind of the basic concept I do working with clients, but I do it in a creative, masterful way that's fun. So I invite you to ask me about that sometime. Often I meet people that state they are depressed, but they actually aren't doing what they love and want to do in life. So that's your career, that's your hobbies, that's maybe where you live or people you're surrounded by. And they also have toxic thoughts towards themselves, kind of what I'm talking about here. It's not a chemical imbalance. In fact, that's actually not ever been founded, but it's talked about a lot by pharmaceutical companies. Note that. Shifts in both of these, meaning, following your dreams, do what you are passionate about, excited about, and then changing those negative thought patterns, you can flourish in life, and life can become really fun and enjoyable. I've had to do some work in both those areas, and I can tell you it totally changes things. But feeling stuck in situations you don't want to be in is also another one that is pretty common, and I see a lot with talking to a lot of people. Your relationships, right? Your job, your city, could all feel like a dead end. Maybe you're in a dead end position or job. But you want to look for solutions. You want to get help looking for solutions if you need to get unstuck, right? So if you're feeling stuck in whatever it is, the house you live in, the community you live in, the job that you have, the friendships that you have, you need to start making a plan to get out and hire someone like me to figure that out if you need to. But be realistic on what you can and can't do in a day. This is something I have to work on. A lot of times I get up and usually have it all mapped out for the week. Actually, I have certain things I want to do every day. And then somehow in the middle of the night, I find this is what I blame it on. In the middle of the night, my mind goes, oh, but I can do this and that and that and this. But reality is I'd like to accomplish one big thing a day, and then other things are a maybe. And that really helps me feel at the end of the day like proud of myself and not any guilt or shame for not accomplishing all those things, but just focusing on one thing a day. And also not getting stuck in comparisonitis. Social platforms, typically people on social media are only showing you the glamorous side of things, and you don't really want to compare yourself to just that. We don't know what their struggles are and their journey. But recognize when you need more help. Get professional help if you're feeling depressed or suicidal. Obviously, we don't want any of that. And that's not my specialty. That would be something that you would want to talk to your doctor about or a mental health professional. So the message today is our lives are constantly changing, shifting, and stress is all around us. You can't fully avoid it, but practice daily some techniques on minimizing it. So when big things do happen, you're able to cope better and stay on track and not fall off track, right? Establishing coping mechanisms. Establishing a support system is the biggest, greatest key to success. Remember, you want to connect with others. I've hired trainers, teachers, coaches throughout my health journey, and I believe that was the most beneficial investment, right? It didn't cost money, it was an investment. I've done well with my life. I've done amazing things. I've accomplished a lot. Has it been easy? No. I've had a lot of challenges, and I will share those with you. But don't be afraid to ask for help, right? Look for people that will help you, be in your corner, support you, and listen to you. So, all right, that's it for this time, and I look forward to the next one. Talk to you soon. Bye.